Simple video topic? I guess so. This isn't the biggest thing in the world, but, you know what, actually, no, I take that back. Thinking about it, if things go down the way things are being talked about, this could literally be the biggest thing in the NHL. I don't know. Let's dive into it here. We are getting into some very subliminal and low-key comments made by one Elliotte Friedman in regards to the Minnesota Wild and their contract negotiation situation with superstar Kirill Kaprizov. Now, we've spoken a bunch about the Kaprizov rejected offer that was reported earlier in the summer. How reportedly, the Wild had Kaprizov on the phone, or his agent, I guess, and they said, hey, we'll give you 8 years at $6 million a year. Is Kaprizov worth it? I don't know. I mean, he's really damn good. I've been saying it this entire time. I feel like for Kaprizov, he's a lot closer to a Connor McDavid than he is to, let's say, a Mikko Rantanen, for example. I think Kaprizov is good enough where if he were to get a contract that made him the highest paid player in the National Hockey League, it wouldn't be all too nutty. Of course, up until Connor McDavid signs, and then he probably overtakes Kaprizov. Assuming Kaprizov signs first, Leon's the top-paid player in the NHL right now. He's making $14 million a year. Connor Mack is going to get more than that, and you can say the same thing about Kirill Kaprizov. However, when the news came out that Kaprizov and his camp rejected a $16 million AAV contract that would have seen him become the highest-paid player in NHL history, both AAV and total money-wise, we were kind of thinking, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? Does he not want to play in Minnesota? Does he not want a long-term deal at $16 million a year? I mean, the theory of going short-term, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years, 5 years, continuously re-upping as the cap grows. That is an option for NHL athletes nowadays. A new precedent set by Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner with Kyle Dubas in Toronto. That's possible. But then we also saw reports saying that apparently Kirill Kaprizov wants to go longer term, because he has been hurt over the past few years. He hasn't been a consistent 82 game per season guy. Now, sure, he has been phenomenal in the games that he does play. Might I remind you, he led the Minnesota Wild for, the majority of the season in points, despite the fact that he only finished the year with 41 games. He's good, but reports saying that he wants a longer-term deal contradict heavily the fact that he and his camp rejected a $16 million AAV 8-year deal. So what exactly is going on here? Well, you had Elliotte Friedman speaking out on the Fan Hockey Show earlier yesterday, saying this, that he believes there's been tampering going on. He'll never be able to prove it, but he believes it. Now, what exactly does that mean? Okay, wait, what? Tampering? First it was Mitch Marner with the Vegas Golden Knights, now it's Kirill Kaprizov? I mean, with Marner, it was like, all right, tampering's happening right before free agency opens up, right before he ends up getting traded to Vegas. Everybody knew he was going there. Kirill Kaprizov tampering in September of 2025, a year before the guy's contract expires? Okay, maybe not a year. More like, let's just round up to October, so November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 9 months. 9 months beforehand? Are we going to get tampering notifications at this time? Well, let's go over onto the R-Hockey subreddit and read a little bit more about what the folks on here say, because they responded to Elliotte Friedman's pondering about tampering on Kaprizov. Elliotte is usually very careful with what he says. It's not like him to just throw something this clickbaity out there unless there's substance. But the I'll never be able to prove it kind of makes me think he just should not be saying it. And that is true, you know? Elliotte Friedman is like the total opposite of me. Where I exploit all the clickbait I can for views, boy who cried wolf style, Elliotte Friedman doesn't do that, and he is very, very careful to not say anything that will cross any boundaries because the amount of sources this guy has, the connections he's got, his web of people available to him is huge. So this is a comment that comes quite out of left field when it comes to Elliotte Friedman being the one saying it. A reply from Ag Puck goes out there and says here, it's been a few weeks now that Elliotte Friedman keeps saying and doubling down on his report that a team out there has a $19 to $20 million offer, and that's why Kaprizov turned down $16 million. Now, that would change the league if that was possible. Possible? That's probably possible, right? Percentage of the cap and everything, right? It's just, you think about the dollars on it. Let's think about the term, because 16 multiplied by 8 years, that is a $128 million contract. Let's say a team offers him $20 million. So if Kaprizov gets, let's say, 6 years on the open market, he's making $120 million if he makes $20 million AAV. If he gets 7 years, then okay, from 120 you go to 140. $140 million, and if you get 8 years, which you're not really able to do that if he goes to free agency, but let's just hypothesize you'll get $160 million, excuse me. So Kirill Kaprizov has some earnings at his hand here if he is capable of getting a $20 million AAV salary. He could get a little bit more than what he would have received on a $16 million AAV salary for 8 years with Minnesota, although it would have to get into 7-year territory. Although you could also argue the contrary, right? This could also bleed into that shorter-term Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner type of conversation where it's like if Kirill Kaprizov gets $20 million over the span of the next, let's say, 5 years, then the next years after that, he could potentially get more if the cap does indeed double. I mean, it's good business when you're thinking about it like that, and if Kaprizov wants to maximize his earnings, this would be the route to go. But there is a few responses to that I also thought were interesting. The blonde bastard goes out there and says this, man, that $20 million would really mess up the cap all around the NHL. But yeah, I don't think Elliotte is one to put that out there if he knew it wasn't probably true. It'll be interesting to watch. Does this mean the Wild trade him this season? Zelda Gold then responds saying neither the team nor the player is interested in winning if one player gets $20 million. And yeah, that would totally change the direction of their teams. At least in the short term. I do believe that if $20 million for one player is on your payroll and the cap does keep increasing in the ways that we expect it to, maybe $20 million for Kirill Kaprizov won't be that bad. It'd be like, okay, you're kind of overpaying for a guy like Darnell Nurse, for example. Like, you could get a lot more value for Kaprizov at $20 million than Darnell Nurse at $9 million. So even if it's a rebuilding team like Chicago or San Jose, yeah, all you gotta do is just wait for the cap to go up and then you're gonna have a lot more money. For Chicago specifically, it's like y'all already signed a lot of your other younger guys to reasonably well-priced deals. You just gotta work on Connor Bedard now. So Kirill Kaprizov for $20 million doesn't seem that bad when you're thinking 3, 4, 5 years ahead. With this in mind, though, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Elliotte Friedman's claim of tampering in regards to the Kirill Kaprizov contract situation? Do you believe it? Disbelieve it? If you enjoyed this video at any point, please leave a like rating. It helps us out with the algorithm. Dislikes are also very welcome and appreciated. The comment section is your floor. That helps us out with the algorithm too. I really appreciate all of your support here. Let me know what you think about this Kirill Kaprizov situation. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.